They watched Earth from the edge of Saturn's shadow, their vessel cloaked in quantum drift and silence. The alien council aboard the Sealan car, a sleek shard of obsidian and silver, was comprised of 9 minds, unified in purpose, uncertain in approach. They had studied hundreds of sentient species, some primitive, others advanced beyond comprehension. None had unnerved them like humanity. It was not humanity's weapons that disturbed them. They had seen planets fractured and stars harvested. It wasn't even the wars, though humanity had painted its history with blood in shades both glorious and grotesque. What unsettled the Sealan car was something deeper, intangible. A defiance in the human gaze, a fury in their resilience, a terrifying joy in their own chaos. Vornok, the oldest of the council, adjusted his posture. His gelatinous form shifted slightly, indicating unease. "They've seen the stars for only a blink of time," he said, voice pulsing through the minds of the others, "and already they reach for dominion." "They don't reach for dominion," whispered Ilithi, younger, curious, and dangerously sympathetic. "They reach for meaning." "No," countered Vornok, narrowing his luminous eyes. "They reach because nothing holds them back. Not death. Not failure. Not even the void." The debate was interrupted by a signal ping, soft, rhythmic. A distress beacon, ancient by Earth standards, floating untethered near Neptune's orbit. A remnant of a failed mission, it still broadcast the heartbeat of its long-dead creators. Ilithi requested permission and descended in a drone. She retrieved the beacon and brought it aboard. It was cracked, scratched, and outdated, yet still pulsing. "It is only noise," said Vornok. "No," said Ilithi. "It is memory." Later, as they dissected the data, they found fragments of human voices, broken, distorted, yet undeniably human. A captain's final log: "We failed the mission, but maybe someone will hear us. Maybe someone will know we tried." It wasn't a warning. It wasn't a threat. It was an echo of hope, adrift in cold space. That night, if night it could be called in orbit, Ilithi requested access to the classified footage. Humanity's first contact was hidden from galactic records for a reason. They watched together in the projection chamber. The scene, a Terran mining vessel encroaching on a Galthori shrine world, unaware of its sacred designation. A patrol ship approached. Warnings were issued. The Terrans misunderstood, or ignored, or simply didn't care. A shot was fired, warning or provocation, no one could ever agree. The result was irreversible. The Terran vessel was disabled, its crew captured. What followed was unexpected. One human, a woman named Captain Reyes, escaped confinement. She did not flee. She did not beg. She sabotaged an energy core, threatened to destroy both ships, unless her crew was returned. She made a deal. The aliens, unwilling to risk mutual destruction, relented. When the footage ended, silence reigned. "She endangered her species," Vornok said. "For pride." "She endangered herself," Ilithi corrected. "For loyalty." Another member of the council, Seakrith, opened a new file. It was footage from Earth, public, not hidden. A broadcast of a global crisis, an earthquake, a wildfire, a storm. In each scene, humans ran toward the danger, toward the chaos, to save strangers. Seakrith spoke, not with judgment, but with reverence. "They sacrifice as easily as they kill." The council adjourned for rest, yet minds remained active. In the quiet of his chamber, Vornok accessed the oldest files on Earth, visual records from their first atomic detonation. The moment the mushroom cloud bloomed, a Terran scientist wrote in his journal, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Vornok read it again and again. Destroyer. Yet the man wept when he wrote it. A week passed in orbit. Then, without warning, a small Terran probe approached. Unmanned. Simple. It broadcast a signal, a song. Old, imperfect, human. Beethoven. Ilithi stood transfixed. Why send music into the void? "Because," said Vornok slowly, "they know they are not alone. And yet they still dare to sing." They did not fear humanity's strength. They feared its contradictions. Compassion and conquest. Fury and forgiveness. Hope and horror, blended seamlessly in one species. "We cannot engage them," said Seakrith finally. "Not yet." But the others said nothing. Back aboard Earth, in a dim-lit command center, a man watched a blinking light, just a momentary ping, high above the upper atmosphere. "Another phantom blip," someone muttered. The man leaned forward. "Ora hello," he whispered. Above, in the still dark, the Sealand car shifted course and vanished beyond Saturn's reach. For now. But they would return. Captain Reyes stood at the edge of Earth's orbital defense platform, eyes fixed on the stars. The scar across her temple, earned in a forgotten skirmish on Europa, itched beneath the sterile glow of artificial light. They had given her a desk after the Galthori incident. A quiet exile with a medal no one dared talk about. But she knew silence wasn't peace. Silence was preparation. The Sealand car had vanished for 3 years. Earth's governments declared the encounter a misread signal, a drifting anomaly. Reyes knew better. She had seen their eyes, alien, yes, but too calculating for indifference. They were watching. Still. At her back, boots clanked against metal flooring. Lieutenant Mara Juno, fresh-faced and flame-willed, handed her a report. Another relay breach. Outer belt, Sector E-97. Reyes didn't blink. Same signature. Mara nodded. Almost identical to the Saturn Shadow event. Reyes exhaled slowly, fingers drumming against her hip. "They're probing us again. Orders." She turned away from the stars, her voice iron. "Activate Black Protocol. If they want a closer look, let's give them something to see." Mara hesitated, her idealism bruised by what that meant. "We're not starting something." "We're not ending it either," Reyes said. "Just making sure the wolves know the sheep are armed." That night, the orbital platform hummed with silent urgency. Drones deployed. Countermeasures tested. The human response was never about brute force, it was about unpredictability. Reyes knew that was what made them terrifying. Not their weapons, but their willingness to escalate, adapt, endure. Across the void, hidden within dark matter filtration, the Sealand car observed again. Ilithi leaned toward the viewport, her bioluminescent eyes dim with thought. "They've rebuilt everything we saw," she murmured. "And more." Vornok hovered behind her, silent. "They knew we were here," Ilithi said. "They know we're watching. And still they chose to prepare, not flee." Vornok's voice was gravel and gravity. "Preparation is not fear. It is intention." "Then perhaps," Ilithi replied, "we must accept that they are not afraid. And that should worry us most." Later, in a secure simulation chamber aboard the Sealand car, the Council watched recovered footage from human conflicts. Not from space battles or planetary wars, but from Earth's own fractured past. Guerrilla tactics in jungle rain, soldiers dragging comrades through fire, civilians defying tanks with bare hands. "Why do they not break?" Seacrith asked, genuinely disturbed. "Why not submit?" "Because to them," Vornok replied, "submission is death. They die fighting because surrender is not living." In silence, they watched the grainy image of a soldier, bloodied, surrounded, smiling through broken teeth, as he detonated a final charge to buy his team a chance. The humans called it heroism. The Council called it madness. Back on Earth, Reyes and Mara reviewed tactical patterns in the new AI-driven analysis unit, ARGO. It displayed alien formations, guessed behavioral models, speculated motives. "They're cautious," Mara observed. "But curious." Reyes tapped a control panel, overlaying human conflict data. "Curious until they understand what we'll do to protect what's ours." "You think they'll attack?" Reyes shook her head. "No. I think they'll test us first. See how far we bend before we break." Mara leaned forward. "And if we don't bend?" Reyes smiled grimly. "Then they'll start wondering what kind of monsters they've found in the dark." ARGO beeped. New data flooded the screen, an unauthorized transmission in a dead language from a forgotten station deep beneath Antarctica. Reyes frowned. "That's not a military code." Mara's voice caught. "It's Old Russian. Pre-space era." The message looped on screen. "They are not gods. But neither are we." Reyes stared at it, unmoving. "Someone's warning us. Or reminding us." That night, The Sealan car received the same message, somehow intercepted, translated, and broadcast into their encrypted channels. An impossible breach. They cracked our veil, Vornok hissed. Impossible. No, Ilithi said softly. It's what they do. Silence passed like an eclipse. The message echoed in every mind aboard. They are not gods. But neither are we. Reyes stood again at the edge of the platform, Earth turning slowly below. She had led war, survived alien judgment, and returned with silence as her legacy. But silence was never safe. It was the inhale before a scream. In the distance, a star flickered, a false one. The Sealan car had made its move. They weren't hiding anymore. Reyes straightened her spine. Let's meet them properly this time. The shuttle hissed as it locked into Earth's orbital station, its hull still warm from atmospheric friction. Reyes stepped out, boots echoing in the docking bay. The air smelled of recycled oxygen and tension. She'd been summoned by the Earth Coalition Council, and summons this sudden rarely meant good news. Mara trailed behind her, unusually quiet. The young lieutenant had learned much in 3 years under Reyes, but the gravity of this moment seemed to weigh heavier than most. They walked in silence, passing soldiers in polished armor and technicians hunched over glowing terminals. Everyone moved with purpose. Everyone avoided eye contact. In the central chamber, Reyes stood before 12 figures arrayed in a semicircle. Leaders, scientists, military strategists, all aging beneath the burden of global survival. Holograms flickered between them, displaying the Sealan car's recent maneuvers, cryptic energy signatures, and intercepted broadcasts in untranslatable pulses. "They're changing their orbit," said Counselor Dakari, sharp-eyed and suspicious. "Positioning for either contact or strategic strike. We need your recommendation." Reyes remained still. "Have we responded to their last signal?" "Not yet," came the reply. "There's disagreement. Some say reply. Some say retaliate. And what do you say?" "I say you're the only person who's faced them and lived." Reyes took a breath, feeling every scar beneath her uniform. "They're not here to end us. If they were, we wouldn't be having this conversation." A pause followed, then murmurs of reluctant agreement. Dakari folded his hands. "Then tell us what they are here for. To see what we've become. And decide if we're worth the risk." Later, alone in the strategy deck, Reyes reviewed the latest probe data. The Sealan car's outer hull had begun to change, its reflective surface now forming geometric sigils. Not communication. Not art. A challenge, perhaps. Or a ritual. "What are you waiting for?" she murmured, zooming in on one crystalline pattern. It resembled a neural structure. Familiar. Human. Mara entered, breaking the silence. "Captain." A message just came through. Direct line. No encryption. Reyes didn't move. From them. From someone on board. Not a council signal. Personal. Reyes accessed the transmission. A voice filtered through, soft, deliberate. "Ilithi. Captain Reyes. The Sealan car wishes for dialogue. Not observation. Not posturing. A meeting. Face to face." Mara paled. "You can't go alone." "I won't," Reyes replied. "I'll bring something they can't predict." Within the hour, Reyes stood at the edge of Earth's stratosphere, preparing for transfer. Aboard a diplomatic vessel retrofitted with both defense and culture, part fortress, part archive. The AI-ARGO had been integrated into the craft, ready to translate, analyze, and adapt on instinct. "You sure about this?" Mara asked over comms. "No," Reyes said, sealing her suit. "But it's the only move left that doesn't lead to war." The stars brightened as Earth fell away. The Sealan car grew larger, its form not alien in the monstrous sense, but in the impossible one. Its design was functional and philosophical, an architecture of thought as much as physics. Docking initiated. Inside, light bent at odd angles, as though the ship obeyed a different truth. Ilithi met her at the threshold, her form fluid but contained, voice gentle but deliberate. "Captain Reyes. Thank you for coming. You didn't give me much choice. I gave you trust." They walked together, flanked by silent watchers of other species, Not soldiers, but witnesses. This was not a trial. It was a reckoning. Ilithi led her to a chamber surrounded by memory streams, living records, alien histories told in color and vibration. In the center, a single strand pulsed in red and blue, Earth's echo. "You see war," Ilithi said. "But we also see hope. We fear your violence, but we envy your passion. What drives you to protect so fiercely?" Reyes didn't answer immediately. She placed a hand on the strand, watching it respond. Scenes from Earth's history flickered. Wars, yes, but also births, rescues, discoveries. "We know what it is to be broken," she said at last. "So we fight like hell to keep others from shattering. And if we do not accept you into the galactic accord?" Reyes turned to her, eyes hard. "Then we go on. Alone if we must. We've done it before." Ilithi studied her for a long time, then gestured to another stream, one shaped like a spiral. Not human. Not alien. A new strand, forming in real time. "You're already changing us," Ilithi whispered. "And perhaps we're changing you." The chamber dimmed. The ship shifted. Outside, Earth waited. Back aboard the diplomatic vessel, Reyes watched the Sealan car pull away, leaving behind a small crystalline artifact. No message, no weapon. Just a symbol. A beginning. Or a warning. Or maybe both. The artifact sat in the center of the Earth Coalition's high-security chamber, bathed in soft white light that couldn't pierce its depths. Scientists, linguists, philosophers, all had tried, and failed, to define it. It wasn't metal or crystal, yet bore traits of both. Its form shifted subtly when no one looked directly at it, as if it pulsed with memory or intent. Reyes watched it without speaking, arms crossed. 3 days since her return from the Sealan car, and still no consensus. No declaration. Just the weight of implication. Mara entered quietly, tablet in hand. Still nothing new. It's inert. No energy readings. No signals. It just exists. Reyes didn't move. Like a seed. Mara tilted her head. A seed. They didn't give us instructions. Or threats. Just this. Maybe they're waiting to see what we'll do with it. Outside the chamber, public opinion fractured. Across Earth's networks, news cycles rotated between cautious optimism and doomsday panic. Alien contact. Peaceful, perhaps, but laced with uncertainty. Humanity had always feared the unknown, and now it was sitting in their capital, silent and unknowable. Councillor Dakari, ever the skeptic, summoned Reyes once again. The meeting room was smaller this time, more intimate. There was no bravado in his voice now, just fatigue. "We can't hold this line forever. The people want answers. Hell, I want answers. What does it mean, Reyes?" Reyes leaned forward, voice steady. "It means we've been acknowledged. Not conquered. Not dismissed. Acknowledged. That's more dangerous than war. It means they see us as players, not pawns. You're saying we've been invited into a game we don't understand." "I'm saying we've already made our first move." They responded with silence and symbol. "Now it's our turn again." Dakari rubbed his temples. "Do we respond with unity or paranoia?" "That's not up to them. That's on us." Meanwhile, ARGO had been running simulations non-stop. The AI no longer focused on translation or decoding. It had shifted priorities, now analyzing patterns in global behavior. The artifact had become a mirror, and ARGO saw its reflection in human action. Protests, research grants, poetry, weapon tests, all branching from a single root. It spoke, finally, in the quiet of Reyes' quarters. "You changed them, Captain. But you also changed us." She turned toward the display, voice dry. "You sound poetic for a machine. I have learned from you. And from them. What do you think it is?" ARGO pulsed, images shifting on screen. "An opportunity. But not one they control. It's not what the artifact does. It's what we do because of it." She stared at the image. Earth, with a faint new orbit traced beside it, the course of the Sealan car. A reminder. A tether. Or a line drawn in challenge. She knew it wouldn't remain silent forever. That night, Reyes walked alone to the observation deck. The stars blinked overhead. Somewhere out there, Elithie watched too. Of that, Reyes was certain. Their exchange had left something behind beyond the artifact, a thread of recognition, of mutual wariness and tentative respect. Mara joined her after a while, not speaking at first. Just watching the sky. "Do you think we'll see them again?" she asked softly. Reyes didn't answer for a long time. Then, "Only if we prove we're worth seeing." And deep beneath the artifact chamber, unnoticed by cameras or scans, the crystalline surface shifted. A single line of light formed across its surface. No sound, no movement, just a pulse. A heartbeat. The beginning had just begun.